said, let's pick two different ball games. One has the Cubs leading 12-0 with 2 outs in the 9th inning. The other one has a 10-inning, 1-run cliffhanger like we saw in Cleveland, right? So those are two different feelings, and if I planned out something to say, it might not fit one situation or the other. So I said, no, I'm gonna just let it ride out. Let's see what happens on that final play, and then I'm just gonna try to be myself. And you know, one funny thing that I was thinking of, you know how sometimes your voice cracks? You're just sitting around, you're having lunch, and you know, please pass the mustard. Pass the mustard. I was so worried that on that final play, I was, gonna say, the Cubs win the World Series. And I thought, my gosh, they're gonna be playing this for the next century, and here's a guy with a voice cracking at the critical moment. But I made it through okay. But all during the year, I was so excited because when you think about the Cubs' last World Series before the one 2 years ago, 1908, there was no such thing as baseball on the radio in 1908. And in 1945, the last time they won the pennant, there is no recording of any announcer saying, the Cubs win the pennant and they're going to the World Series. So I knew that I had a good chance to do both of those things. And it was so exciting to be the first Cubs announcer to say that the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. No broadcaster ever said that before. So it was so much fun, and I can't wait to get back. I really can't. I thought we were going to get back last year. We fell a little bit short, but 3 straight trips to the National League Championship Series, and if anything, everyone is a little more experienced. We've got a great ball club. The everyday lineup is awesome. We're going to score a ton of runs. We're going to have a good pitching staff. There are just no real question marks going into the year. Now, having said that, you guys are all baseball fans, and you know how unpredictable, how beautifully unpredictable, and how frustratingly unpredictable the ball game can be sometimes. But having said all of that, we have so many good elements in place. Again, the team on the field is terrific. I love Joe Madden. Theo Epstein should be in the Hall of Fame already as the executive, so he's ready to make whatever moves we have to make at the trading deadline or right before that. We've got an owner, Tom Ricketts. He wants to win as badly as a ball player does, so I love that. We just have the best fans in the world. You guys know that. So we just have... It's absolutely the happiest time of my entire career. I have a great partner on Cubs Radio, Ron Coomer, and I had a wonderful partner, Ron Santo, for 15 years. In fact, whenever I talk to an audience, I love to share a couple of Ron Santo stories. You may have heard this one, but I don't care. I love telling it. We were at Shea Stadium in New York, early in the 2003 season, a cold night in April. So they had this old-fashioned electric heater in the visiting radio booth, the kind that glows a bright orange when you turn it on. It was right over our heads, Ron Santo and myself. We stand up for the national anthem. And about halfway through the anthem, I smell something burning. And I hear something sizzling, like bacon on a stove. I turned and looked at Ron Santo. His hairpiece had caught on fire. There is smoke billowing out the top of his head. A little blue flame is shooting toward the sky. I didn't know what to do. I'm his partner. His hair's on fire. So I grab a cup of water, splash it on top of his head, and put out the flame. And I was thinking, I wonder if this is the way a big league broadcast has ever begun before, with one guy splashing water on the other guy. And Ronnie's first reaction, he was a very handsome man and very vain about his appearance. His first thought was, how does it look? How does it look? I looked at him and I almost laughed right in his face. It looked like a golfer had taken a pitching wedge and whacked one right off the top of his noggin. It was a divot right in the top of his head. So when he said, how does it look? I lied. I said, it doesn't look that bad to me. But one thing that he always thought was great was, and this is a true story, The starting pitcher for the New York Mets on the night that Ron Santo's hairpiece caught on fire was Al Leiter, and that is a true story. I would like to open it up for Q&A. I've got more Santo stories if you want them, and we'll be happy to tell those. Does anyone